Okay, now here's the Raspberry Pi bundle. Let's go ahead and get this guy open. Well, I've done a Raspberry Pi system before. I used the larger board, which is the Raspberry Pi 3 Plus, I believe. Or I think it's a 3B Plus. I can't remember the model, but it's the one right before the number 4 Raspberry Pi. And I used that and made a little ad blocker for my home network here. So it's not my first time doing a Raspberry Pi, but I thought it'd be fun and interesting. So let's see. We have the power supply, which is just looks like a pretty standard USB micro USB wall adapter here. And there it is, a little micro USB to power our little board. And this is the micro USB to USB-A adapter. Here it is. Boom, boom. That little guy. And this is the HDMI. I think it's micro. I'm not sure if they call it micro. It is the smaller HDMI to a standard HDMI plug. Right there. Over there. And this little guy is the actual Raspberry Pi Zero W. Little board. It is in like an anti-static little package here, so I'm going to try to grab it on the edges. And here's the little board. The Raspberry Pi logo on the back. And here are the front ports here. As you can see, the 2 micro USB. There is your HDMI. It is the micro size. And for this does have onboard RAM memory, but for its ROM memory or its permanent memory, it will be using a micro SD card, which I have a little pack here. I have a 32 gigabyte one, and we'll be putting that into this side over here. This little guy, what else we got? We got, let me put this right back into its anti-static thing here, because I am on the table. Come on, there we go. Alright, it's in there again. And this should be the case. There we go, here's the case for it. So there's just a little black, let's unwrap that. Okay, a little protective cover on it there. As you can see, it has the openings for all the ports. As you can see, there's only 3 ports on it. And then obviously there's the side where you're going to put the micro USB. Although I don't see. I guess you have to have it pre-installed. You have to put the micro USB in it, and then you won't be able to take it out again. So, well, the other case I had, you could still access the micro USB, but it was a larger case. Let me see how I can open this guy. I don't see any obvious way to open it. So I think it also comes with a ribbon for if you are going to connect a camera to it. It does come with the ribbon, and the ribbon goes on the opposite side of the Raspberry Pi, opposite of where the micro USB goes. Look at those instructions on that. Figure this one out. And I wonder what these other two. They give you pieces. It kind of looks like the Raspberry Pi would just fit inside this guy. I'm not sure what the other two. Well, I'm going to be looking at the instructions, but this is just an unboxing video. of this product that I received on Amazon. I will link it in the video. And what do we have here? Here's the actual, oh look, they gave you a little heat sink and a little sticker there from the company that actually put together this little package here. And tomorrow we will be, either tomorrow or the next day, we'll be installing the operating system I'll be using on this little board here so we can play some retro games. Okay, so this is how you go ahead and install the Retropie software onto your little micro SD card. So we're going to go over to the Retropie website. So I kind of already have it here already. And you're going to want to go to the downloads. You'll start off at home and then just click on download. Now, depending upon which Raspberry Pi you have, we have right over here Raspberry Pi 0 and 1. We have Raspberry Pi 2 and 3, which I'm assuming will also work for Raspberry Pi 4, which is currently out right now. So you want to go ahead and click on the Raspberry Pi that you have, which I have a 0, and then you're going to hit save, and it'll save to your download folder. Now, I already pre-downloaded it already, so I cancel that out. Let me go ahead and make sure my SD card is inside my SD card reader. There we go. Okay. Minimize that. Let's minimize this. Once you have it downloaded, what you're going to need to do is also have a program that will flash that micro SD card. And the best is Etcher, which is right over here. If you just Google search that, look under Etcher, and that should come right up. Here's the program once you get it started, and you're just going to select your image, which is the file that you downloaded for your Raspberry Pi or the Retropie software. And here it is right here. I have another version of Raspberry Pi as well, but we're going to want the Retropie I just downloaded. And that is the Retropie 4.5.1. Go ahead and open that. And if you do have multiple SD cards plugged into your system, you want to make sure you select the right one if you need to change that. I only have one in there, so it's already ready to go. Go ahead and hit flash. It's going to ask, do you want to allow this app to make changes? Hit yes. And it's going. It's going to take a few minutes here, so let's go ahead and let that run. Okay, that's all set to go now. Windows obviously doesn't recognize the file system that's used in the SD card, so it's going to want you to format it. Just go ahead and hit cancel. Okay, cancel one more time. And we're all set to go. So the SD card is all ready to go. The SD card may or may not appear in your safe to remove option there, and it probably, if it didn't appear there, it's not going to appear here. You can just go ahead and you can pop it out. Obviously, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just go and shut everything down, pop it right out. I did do this on another computer too, where it did actually, it did show up as a drive, and I was able to eject it from there. But that's how you install it on your micro SD card. Okay, so now I have my install of my Retropie operating system on my little micro SD card. I'm going to go ahead and assemble the Raspberry Pi 0W. So here's my little. Here's the little board here. And not much to it, so I'm just going to insert the SD card right in here. Just get it. Nope, perfect. Slide it all the way in there. There we go. And now for the case. And it's got a few different pieces to it. But what I suspect is it's different pieces for different applications. Can make the case a little bit larger. They'll have the same kind of bottom piece where or top piece, which will sit right above your Raspberry Pi. And then here is the lower piece. Here is just one lower piece, a bunch of upper pieces just in case, depending upon what you're planning to do with your Raspberry Pi Zero, and they'll just snap right on. And since I am using this as a retro gaming system, I'm just going to be using this top right here, flat top. I don't need any of the openings that these other tops offer. But there is one thing right in here. There is a little heatsink to help control the heat coming off that chip, the main chip there. So we get this guy out. Just a little aluminum heatsink. Not much to it. Just a little thin piece of aluminum with some fins and a little bit of a little thermal pad on the bottom here to help get that heat off the chip. Oh, there we go. Thought I was gonna have to get my tweezers right there. So here we go. As far as just stick it right on, doesn't matter like the orientation at all. Just make sure it fits right on that main chip there. Oh, shoot, got my finger on it. It's doggone it. Usually don't want to do that. You don't want to get your oils on there. But yeah, I already did it. It's trouble seeing here. There we go. And then just give it a little press just to make sure it makes good contact there. It's right there. Let's go ahead and slide it right in. Let's get this right into this bottom piece right here. It has the cutouts here for your HDMI and your 2 micro USB. And we're just gonna, with this case, just you gotta line up all these ports. And then once you do that, what am I doing here? Something. Oh, there we go. So, okay, once you get your ports lined up, and there we go. Ports are lined up, and just snap right into place here. There we go. And there's a little clip right here that the motherboard is just gonna, you're gonna press it on through. There it goes. It has four little points that each corner of the circuit board. The little clips or little points here will insert into the circuit board on those four corners. Everything fits nice and easy. And then we just get the top here, and the top, I don't think there's any particular way other than just snapping it right on. Yep, there we go. Boom, there it is, and there's a complete system all together, all assembled, ready to go. And hopefully next we will get some games loaded on here and gets playing. Okay, so here we are setting up the Retropie. I got the little system installed, or built. Got the OS installed. I already fired it up. It runs through a little setup process. I'll also bookmark, there is a YouTube video on setting this up as well too, which I'll also bookmark in the description. But let's see, once it runs through its whole setup process, this is the screen that we come to. And this is where we're going to configure our controller. So I already have my controller hooked up here. And let's see, I did need to order a little, I'll show everything at the end, but I needed to get a little micro USB adapter that had a couple other ports, a couple other USB-A ports on the end of it. So I'll show you all my whole little setup I got.
I have my hat in my hand.
But let's go ahead and set this up here. So here I got my controller ready. So let's see, hold alright, so here it is, the gamepad controller. So we have D-pad up, D-pad down, D-pad left, D-pad right, your start button, your select button, your A button, your, what is this one, B button, your X button, your Y button, left shoulder button, right shoulder button. If your controller does not have any more buttons on it, which mine does not, I've already selected everything I can, all you're going to do is hold down any button on the controller and it'll skip to the next option. And we're trying to get down to hit OK. Now the hotkey is it allows you to use that key, whatever key you select as the hotkey, and in association with another key to do like automatic saves, or loading or exiting the emulator, all that. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to make select my hotkey. So while it will be used as a select key, but if I use select with another key, then I'll be able to do different options. And here we are at the main page here. I'm just showing you guys different options here that we have, or how to navigate. I'm just navigating using the controller. This controller is like and again, I'll show you pictures of everything. But this is like a Super NES controller. And so these are all the buttons work. Everything appears to work with this thing. And all your different options are down here. This is what the main page should look like there. We're going to start AMI Barry. So here's all the different this is all the different options in the Now, I don't have any games yet, so we will be loading up some games, and I will show you what that looks like next. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and load some games up here onto our Retropie system. Now, you will need a flash drive, preferably something 32 gigabytes or less.
And the reason for that is if you go to format anything larger than that, I have a 120 here. You'll notice it only gives you the NTFS and exFAT file system, and we need FAT32. There are programs out there that allow you to do larger flash drives. However, we're just working in Windows here. So I do have a 16 gigabyte right here, which I've actually already formatted. And you can see it gives you 3 options there. So FAT32 is what you want. Select it, hit start, and it'll format it appropriately. As soon as it's done formatting, you're going to open it up, and you're going to put one file in there called Retropie. That's it. And as soon as you're done with that, go ahead and eject it from your computer. Then you're going to go ahead and plug it into your Retropie. And if it's on, you're going to have to restart the emulator or restart the system. I did it from when the system was shut down and booted it up. Nothing happened. Tried it a second time and it worked. This is what it should look like. So as soon as it'll write all the different files for the different ROMs or emulators that it has in the Raspberry Pi system. And if it does it right correctly, that Retropie file, when you bring it back to your computer or your Windows machine, should look like this. It should have a BIOS, configs, ROMs. And you want the ROMs, and boom, there's all the different gaming systems. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take your games that you have for any, for this is the Ataris or anything, and put them in the appropriate folders. So I do have a bunch of Super Nintendo games, regular Nintendo games, Atari 2600 games, and Sega Genesis. And Sega Genesis is actually called Mega Drive. So Genesis was only a North American thing. However, everywhere else, Mega Drive. So that's, if you do have Sega Genesis, you want to put it in the Mega Drive file. Once you get all those games copied over into the appropriate file on your flash drive, go ahead and eject it and plug it right back into your Retropie. Again, giving it a restart if you already have it on, and the games will simply transfer right over. And as soon as you see the games appear there, you could take out the USB stick, and you can go back and forth adding more games if you do want to add more to your library as time goes on.
Okay, now we're booted back up into Retropie here. So, like I said, it's very easy to get all your ROMs on here. As soon as you have them copied over to your USB, plug it right into your Retropie, boot it up, and everything transfers over. It takes a few minutes, but it's quick and easy. And as you can see, I have my Atari 2600 games. I have Sega Mega Drive, which is actually the Sega Genesis here in the United States. Nintendo NES, Retropie, Super Nintendo NES games. So I'll probably, I have some more I'll have to get on here, but let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to, boom, go right in there. And we have a few classic games, Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, Joust, which was, we played non-stop when we got this game. Pitfall as well. One that me and my father really played a lot was this Real Sports Baseball. I'm going to tell you, I really have no idea how to play it now. So, just wait for it to load up. There it is. 1982 Atari baseball game. What do I have to do? There it goes. Wait, no. There we go. I'll tell you, with the Atari controller, it was just a joystick and one button, and that was it. And me and my dad would play this all the time. Let's see if I can figure out how to... I think if I just hit down and A might work. Now B. There we go. There's a pitch. Ball one. Let's see. Nope. What did I do wrong? Oh, no, let's see. Ball two. I don't even know how to... See, I guess I'm defense. Not sure. Guess I'm just throwing balls here. Not sure how I throw a strike. Nope. I think I threw it to the first baseman. Oh, nice. Let's see. I think you cycle it. There we go. Back to the catcher, and the catcher should throw it. There we go. All right. Let's do that one more time. Down. Pitch. And I guess I just walked him. Now, using the hotkeys, select and start will take you back to your main menu. Here we are. And if you just go side to side, left and right, it'll take you to the different systems. Here is the Genesis. And Sonic the Hedgehog. One of my favorites was Road Rash. And here's the NES. A bunch of games I used to play. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know if this was the first. Oops, I went back. I don't know if this was the first. I'm pretty sure this was the first, I think, Ninja Turtle game that was out there. And I played this religiously for, as soon as I got back from school, as soon as homework was done, boom, those Ninja Turtles. Now I always remember there was one part I'd always get stuck on, and I had to, it was like a very, like a light jump. Oh, that smashed. It was a very, it was just jumping from one point to another, and I kept getting, I kept falling into the water. I could never quite figure that out. But if you go into the little manhole here, then you have your actual character, and that's Raphael. And then I forget what these guys were called. These were these guys, little robot dudes, were Mousers or something. I forget the name. But there it is. There's the system all set to go. Back out of that. It's all ready to go. It's all great. And I really like it. All my favorite games from the past. Okay, so here is all my accessories and everything I have. So this is the Raspberry Pi Zero. And the Raspberry Pi Zero, the case came in a kit, so it had the case, different tops depending upon your application. It did come with the charger, or not the charger, the battery pack here. Came with a battery pack, which has a USB, micro USB connector. It comes with a mini HDMI to a standard size HDMI plug. It also, I don't have it here, but it does come with the 40-pin connector, which would plug into the pins. If you look at the bottom there. On the opposite side of the Raspberry Pi is where you'll put the pins in, and then you have to do your own little soldering work. But obviously, I didn't need that for this application. So it comes with that. It comes with everything you need to assemble it, except for the micro SD card. So I did order just a regular SanDisk 32 gigabyte micro SD card. And what I had to order separately, or what I wanted to order separately, is it does come with a micro USB to standard USB-A. However, I did want to plug multiple things into it, so I did order this off Amazon. And it has the micro USB with 3 USB-A, and it also comes with a pass-through micro USB on that side. So this came in handy because I got a pack of 2 controllers. So I got these controllers that replicates Super Nintendo. The other triggers, the 1, 2, 3, 4. And these were just off Amazon. I'll have links to all these products that I purchased, as well as the kit. Super easy to do. Super easy to do. Get everything installed. Download the operating system. I mean, I don't know about previous versions of the OS, but this latest version is really easy. And loading up the games, piece of cake. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them down below. But thanks for watching.